is broken up when they look in the brain to see where the areas are of will. It's in different places in the brain, so it doesn't transfer. And it's like a muscle. So it's like if you are a jogger, you might not necessarily be a swimmer because the muscles that you need to use for each sport are different. And with this client, he needed to do this quickly. So he didn't have time to develop the musculature in his brain.
Yeah.
So instead, I wondered how he could best use me to help him with accountability. And it became something that we discussed in a session. What would be his role with his goal to clean up that room? And what could be my role? And, first he started by wondering, well, does that mean you're going to come over and help me clean this up? And it was like, no, that's not a role I'm willing to take on. But is there anything I could do that I'd be comfortable with, that I feel would still respect the ethics and licensure and purpose of therapy that could support you? And this is a different idea for people in therapy. The idea that the therapist wants to support you outside of a session.
Yeah.
For him, what he said is, it would be nice if I knew that you were thinking about me outside of the session. Could you do that? I could do that. I could think about him. And then I said, what else? And he said, well, when I come back in, I don't want to have to report back into you whether I did this or not. But I do want you to be curious about it. So let's discuss how we'll talk about it at the next session. So I don't have to set myself up for failure. But I know that you're carrying the through line of therapy and you're going to ask me something about it in a way that feels respectful. So again, that was the shared accountability, ways that I could support him that felt appropriate as a therapist, that borrowed from coaching, and would help this person feel like he had accountability with me. Not that I was a parent, not that I was a teacher expecting homework. I'm his therapist.
Yeah.
But still feel like it mattered.
So what did you, I have to get to the end of the story. What did you come up with as the way that you could actually say something that didn't feel like a parent or a teacher, et cetera?
So what we agreed on is that I would ask him how it went and what did he learn. And that he felt like that would not be like a parent or like a teacher, because it's not that I was caring, did you do it or not? It's more, I'm curious about how it's affecting you and what you might be learning about yourself.
Well, getting back to CBT and people not doing their homework, what has been the secret in coaching to structure homework in such a way that people want to do it or do it?
I think it's this shared accountability. I think it's the idea that, there's this metaphor about the difference between therapy and coaching, this bicycle metaphor, that if you're learning to ride a bike and there's a therapist present and a coach present to help you, the therapist would stand off to the side and say, oh, let me observe how you are balancing on that bike and how you're pedaling and where did you learn to put your feet like that and how are you feeling and what are you thinking? And the coach would get on the back of this bike, the back of the seat right behind you and say, where do you want to go today?
I love that.
That's a really different role, different role. So coaches, because they're not therapists and they don't need to work in the same way with the ethics and the licensure and the transference that we use as therapists, they can get on the back of the bike. They can work that closely. They can say, call me every day, and tell me how you're doing on this. They can say, what else can I provide you with? So they can do a lot more to help someone be successful in the homework.